everybody. Welcome back to the Realist People in Real Estate podcast, where we talk about the real shit and not about real estate. I'm one of your hosts, Brooke Jones, aka the Millennial Agent.
I'm Robert Courtney.
What's up, everybody? I'm your girl, Tyra Nicole.
Hey, everybody. I am Nicole Pay, and I'm so excited to be back at the lab at the RPR podcast. We have been gone for a couple weeks, but we are back tonight. And guess what? There's one person at this table that has not been interviewed yet. So tonight, it's all about Miss Tyra Nicole. But before we dive into that, we're going to talk about Iconic Circle for a minute.
Yes.
So let's really get into that. Let's talk about Iconic Circle.
What is Iconic Circle? I think everybody wants to know.
What is Iconic Circle, Nicole?
Iconic Circle is we are building a community to inspire others through real estate, lifestyle, content, and education.
You got that down
so
pat.
good. Like, you are officially the voice.
You're the person.
Yeah,
For that.
you're the spokesperson.
I will never be caught on the spot with that again. I can assure you that.
I think this is a really good opportunity to talk about what we've seen so far. Like, we didn't know what to really expect when we started initially having the conversation about what it would be. I think we even kind of stumbled through the initial steps, but I think now it's really starting to take shape. No pun intended. And people are starting to understand what the circle is.
Yeah.
What have been you guys' experience in talking to people, like the feedback? Like, what's your thoughts?
Yeah. I think I like the fact of how everything kind of happened organically. Like,
Absolutely.
we didn't really plan anything out. Everything just kind of started to happen, like one thing after another. And I think we've gotten the biggest response from this podcast, the RPR podcast.
The energy that I think everyone has felt from us has been, I almost said unique, so we're going to go there.
Again,
the
no pun
energy
intended.
has, no pun intended, been unique, and it's been real, and I think that's what I have loved so much about this journey, especially being here with all of you guys, and Will, part of our production team. Like, this is who we are, and we're raw and we're real, and people respond to that because everybody wants to be raw and real, and they don't know when they can be that, and you can be that with us.
I think a really good example, we were talking and someone reached out and just said, it seems like you just have fun every day. Like, you just walk, you walk your dog, and you're like shopping and hitting the gym, and you're doing all these things. And I feel like the perception, like people seeing us thoroughly enjoying ourselves is like the magic. And then they want to understand the magic. So it's like the attraction of, let me just be a part of that. I don't care what it is. Like, I just want to be a part of it. And then we explain, like, there's a real business model that we're following with a real plan to create successful real estate agents.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is just going to events and people coming up to me and being like, "Oh, you guys have that podcast," and they know who I am. I might not have ever known them or know their name, and they want to be on the podcast themselves. A lot of people are asking us, like, ask Rob, like, "Hey, I would love to be on the podcast." I don't know if you guys get it too,
I get messages, about being on the podcast. But I think one thing that a lot of people may not understand is we started this long time ago. This has been in fruition for us for a long time. We had a vision. We worked at it. We knew what we wanted, and it all just happened naturally. But this didn't just happen overnight. Like, we've been working at this for a while.
I think, like, my post today was conversation lead to conversion. And that transcends so many different things. Like, that's conversation for lead gen. If we're talking about real estate, that's a post for someone who is trying to build something like we're trying to build. And every business venture that I've been a part of where I didn't force it, because everybody want to do a business plan, and then it's like I have to go through every step of my business plan, and then you get to the end, it's like, actually, I don't really like this business. Like, I'm not enjoying this process. And so I have traditionally went away from that, and it's just like, trust the process.
For sure, it's definitely
Trust have faith in the fact that we are all moving in the right direction, and because of that, great things will happen through conversation.
I didn't even know what you guys were trying to build at first. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'm on board. Like,
you have faith.
You just have faith.
You had that mustard seed of faith.
You trust the process.
Listen, who said Keith Lee? said he was listening to. Everybody know Keith Lee is.
I do
right?
not.
You know,
do you know?
Keith Lee
I know Keith
I
Lee
don't.
is.
Oh my gosh.
I don't either.
Oh, thank you. Like, I
Stop
thought you were
it.
going to leave me
You
out in
don't
the
know
woods
Keith
here.
Lee?
I don't.
I probably
All
do,
right,
but
well,
I
this
You
don't.
don't know who Keith Lee is,
Do you
right?
guys know?
I was
Does
just
that-
looking
know?
like, what?
You don't know? Do you know who Keith Lee is?
Do you guys?
Okay.
I don't know.
See, all right. Well,
Okay.
thank
So-
you, everybody in the room.
We
for
don't
not-
have some foodies
Well,
in this room.
I want to say you're gonna know who Keith Lee is
Okay,
after tonight.
I'm gonna
Keith Lee
Google.
is from Detroit.
Okay.
He started off doing
Shout out to Keith Lee.
food reviews on TikTok.
Oh, okay.
And he was basically like 5,000, 10,000 followers. Now he has 12.5 million.
Wow.
Holy moly.
And every time he posts a review about somebody's restaurant,
I'm sure they blow up.
Their store blow up. Like,
Oh, wow.
stupid. Like,
Does he travel now? Obviously, or does he stay just in
has
Detroit?
he just got a huge deal with Chipotle, I think.
That is
Kevin Hart.
crazy
He just
how that
reviewed Kevin
works.
Hart's new restaurant.
Wow.
Oh, really? Oh, we
Yeah.
need
He
to
did a
look up
collab
Keith
with
But
Lee.
this is over like 6 months.
Wow.
Like,
That's crazy.
in like a 6-month window, he went from basically being nobody to like 13 million people. And if you listen to his videos, it would be like Chris Kyle is a little further advanced, but it would be like Chris Kyle becoming like the go-to food critic for.
So he's like a foodie.
Yes.
Okay.
And his videos started off so basic.
They
I'm
are
talking
still
about-
basic.
So he
That's
like
the funny
blew up
thing.
off of one and then.
They are like, yep, he did like.
You know
I
who
think
he
that-
is? Oh, okay.
I think the big one, he did one in Vegas where he did a review on this black-owned restaurant, and they went from, he was on his verge of being out of
That's
business.
crazy.
He said
No
he
way.
had only one more month and he was going to close his doors. Keith Lee did a review, and then
Dang.
next thing you know, he was like lying around the block for like
That's
the next
crazy.
month. Anyway, today on his TikTok, he said he was listening to Steve Harvey. And Steve Harvey
Love
said,
Steve Harvey.
yeah, Steve Harvey, he been coming with fire lately. But Steve Harvey said, I know I'm gonna forget this quote, but he said, science says you need to see it and then I'll believe it. But faith says you need to believe, science says you need to see it and then, I need to see it.
That makes
and,
sense.
And then you'll believe it.
Yeah.
And then faith says, I need to
Believe it. to see
believe it, and then you'll see it.
That totally
That's
makes
Les
sense.
Brown. He took Les Brown stuff.
Is that Les Brown?
Is it?
I thought that was super profound.
Sorry.
So anyway,
No, but
No, it's great though. That's
Yeah.
but
definitely
yeah,
great quote.
that's definitely for sure.
yeah. To
It's a
take-
lot
I
of
like that
trust.
quote.
I feel like we all trust each other.
Yeah.
We kind of already had like trust beforehand.
It was
which worked.
definitely trust.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think every time we like step out into a new area, we're kind of all doing it together.
Yeah.
And I think that is what makes it even, I don't say more valuable. I don't know if that's a word I'm looking for, but it makes it more reassuring to know that I have such an amazing team that I can
Yeah.
take each step with.
Yeah.
So if I fall, y'all are going with me.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and then there's
And if
accountability
we fly,
between
we're all
us.
flying.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like truly the definition of a team.
Yeah.
Because we came together, brought all of our ideas together, and this is what came about of it. It wasn't just like one person saying, do this, you do that, you do that. We all came together.
I think we should do like a live, like for one of our meetings. I think people would actually get a kick sometimes,
We
like when we
should.
do our in-person meetings,
And it's
because
about
the
time for one.
the way that we throw around stuff and how our
Yeah.
meetings go.
Yeah.
I don't think if people had meetings like
Yeah.
we do,
Yeah.
It
You would thoroughly enjoy going to
our
a meeting.
meetings, our in-person
Yes.
meetings, because they
And
are
then
quite
brainstorm
Bring the food and the
sessions.
drinks either.
Yeah.
And we bring the food and drinks with them too, but they're truly inspiring and entertaining, and I couldn't imagine having this journey with anyone else but the people I have in this room.
So let's just before we wrap this up, let's talk about the actual business model and the
Right.
different arms that we have connected, so that
Yes.
someone who may be thinking about coming on board with this community, they understand like it's just not fun and games. Like there's
Yeah.
actual
Definitely.
potential to make money.
Putting in
and
that
There's
work.
work.
right.
Are we actually
We
going
stay
to
motivated.
with the hustle mentality?
Hustle mentality and motivated.
Yeah.
It's how we're on the
the
track.
hustle method. My bad.
The hustle. Well, I'm battling between the two names.
Okay, you
so.
do use
Yeah.
both phrases.
I use both.
Oh, you
Okay,
gotta
okay.
say
Oh,
hustle
I see.
mentality is.
I like
unique.
mentality.
I like mentality a
Yeah.
lot. And if people don't know, like, Tyra gives us motivational songs and speeches all the time. So if anything else, if you're going to get anything out of this, you're going to get Tyra on the track.
I'm on track 4.
She's on, track 4? Oh. We're going to have another CD compilation. Listen, you guys are going to be passing out CDs again. I can see it happening. Just make sure you autograph them this time.
It'll go down real quick, real fast. Right. So we have, as a part of the iconic circle, is basically the umbrella of everything that's happening. The iconic circle, as Nicole explained, consists of a lot of different components that we're using to inspire conversations, basically. But then underneath that umbrella, we have the RPR podcast, an attraction tool to basically bring in real estate agents, but then give them an opportunity to express themselves beyond real estate. So they're not allowed to talk about real estate.
Right, and I'll speak on the RPR podcast. What I love about it is with real estate, that's all we see from people. Like if you're in real estate on social media, that's all you're kind of seeing, them showing houses, doing this, doing that. But with the RPR podcast, we're able to see the real person behind real estate. So that's what sets us apart and makes us different from other real estate podcasts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that was the idea behind it as well.
So there's the attraction piece from the podcast. There's also obviously the potential for ads and sponsors and those different business elements that will come as the podcast continue to pick up momentum. There's the event component. I speak at a ton of real estate broker offices, real estate events, things like that. So there's the opportunity to create exposure for everybody within the circle, everybody within the team.
We also have Let's Plug Real Estate for Beginners coming up June 10th. Go ahead and throw that plug in there real quick, because that's going to be a huge event that people need to make sure they're at.
So we have Real Estate for Beginners coming up actually 1 month from today, June 10th. And it's all about just showing people how to get started in real estate. If you ever wanted to or even thought about being in real estate, you should be there. It'll be guest speakers, we'll have a panelist, fireside chats, all of that. So
I'm excited.
I'm so excited for that
event.
We have
some good speakers.
We have some great speakers lined up.
I think every single event we have with panelists, we got really good speakers. So.
For sure.
Then we'll be launching our first-time home buyer series, which I still would like to pull off on the 17th. Although
I was wondering about that.
I know you guys might feel like that one is a little unsure.
You told Tyra you had it, so
it's going to happen.
We're going to trust the process.
We're going to trust the process.
We're going to trust the process.
It might be 10, 15, 20 people.
That's
but
all we
it don't
need.
matter. That's a starting point.
That's next Wednesday, right? The 17th.
The 17th.
Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, next Wednesday.
It's a week from today.
Oh.
Yes.
A week from today.
It's a week from today.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
first time home buyers class.
First time home buyer free event. It'll be a free event. It'll just be information based. I really would like to capture content that we can then use to promote future home buyer events. And so that's the thing. Like, and I know you guys don't think about it in this way. I'm obviously like the real social media guy in this team, but everything is content, so it can't fail. Like we can plan an event and 0 people show up, but if we get the content, we still won. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's always success in my mind, regardless of what it is that we're doing. So,
but we haven't thus far done an event that has.
No, we haven't.
And we've had some pretty great turnouts, a lot of great feedback from the stuff that we've done. So I have no fear or reservation that this next event is going to be just as good.
Yeah, everything is usually, it usually gets a really good response.
Do you want to talk about, like why we started though originally, like Iconic Circle?
Are we going to dive into that?
You can start it.
She said, excuse me, do you want to talk about
it? You explain it better.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons. I was about to say,
give us your
thoughts.
My thought was it was really hard to find a niche or like people that I could work. So I need camaraderie when it comes to work. And I couldn't find my people that like I could just go to when I had questions about real estate, people that keep me motivated, right? Like people that can hold me accountable. And when you guys brought this up, I was like, well, that's perfect because I'm kind of already like struggling to find my people, you know? And so that's really what Iconic Circle.
See, so that's what drew you to it.
Right.
Like, I mean, I could definitely speak to that, but I think that was probably like your kind of reason for feeling like this was a perfect situation.
For Will and I, like, we're a team. So for us to be able to come in as a team and brand ourselves with each other and still have an entire force behind us, that was huge for us because that's one thing I have to say, like, I love about Iconic Circle is everyone can be their own individual self. Yeah. You can brand yourself, you can be yourself, but yet we're still a unit at the end of the day.
Yeah,
and that's
50-50 splits.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I truly loved about this environment, this space, was there was no, I don't want to say tit for tat because I don't think that's the word I'm looking for, but
no egos.
There was no egos. There was no nothing. Like, Will and I are a team. We came into this team as a team, and we're gonna always be a team. But we have an entire team behind us that literally will kick us in the ass for anything that we don't do, say, don't. Like, we always have that, and I think that was huge for us, that we can brand ourselves and be individuals, but still feel like we're a part of a unit. Yeah. And that's huge, because you don't find that a lot.
100%, and I think, like, that was the main reason I didn't want my real estate license, because my entire goal is to legit drive momentum for everybody that's a part of the team, and I just feel like if I have my real estate license, then it turns like, okay, this is ultimately about you. Like, this isn't about, like, everybody else. Yeah. There's the benefit that I get is watching everybody in the circle win. Yeah. Like, that's my ultimate.
But we offer everything, though.
Right.
Like, there's nothing that you can come to Iconic Circle and we don't offer somebody.
We wanted to make sure that we offered everything for everybody before we brought people in, too.
Absolutely. Yeah. And there's nothing that, if you need something, one of us is going to be able to find it.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the joy of being a part of such a tight unit and being this supportive of each other is, if I don't got it, I know she's got it, you got it, someone's got it, if that I can just turn to and make one phone call and it's done.
I think the last piece of the puzzle that we're currently in the process of developing is our call center and this lead gen piece that's going to just, it's already incredible. It's already incredible, everything that we just said.
Yeah.
But to tell an agent who is new in real estate or is not sure this is what they want to, where they want to be, we're going to bring you in, we're going to support you, we're going to put you a part of a group that has your best interest at heart.
We're going to make sure you win.
We're going to make sure you win. But then also, we're going to feed you leads so that if you don't win, you literally just sat at home and didn't do nothing.
And it's not just random phone numbers. Like, they're actually people that have already been contacted that are ready to buy or sell.
Correct.
Our call center called them already.
Correct. We're literally throwing you the alley-oop, and all you have to do is dunk the ball.
Why is everything a sports reference? Between you and Will, you're basketball and he is football, and he's the quarterback and I'm the receiver. And I'm like, really? Like, I want to be the quarterback sometimes.
Sports is life.
So, sports aren't life, but I swear, you guys crack me up. Everything is a sports.
Is the direct example of how a team should operate.
That's valid. I will give you that. Everything is a sports reference.
As soon as you say the reference, then it clicks.
It makes sense. It does, and it's frustrating. I don't want it to make sense sometimes. Sometimes I want to I can't give a baseball analogy. It's always football. So, but no, it does make sense, and you're absolutely right. Like, as a team player, like, we'll do alley oops and slam dunks.
Thank you. What sport would you like to use? You want to talk about baseball?
I don't.
So it's like you throwing a perfect pitch, and all you got to do is knock it out of the park.
I just went out.
Those people.
Mine is going out too.
I know, mine keeps going in and out. But those are opposite teams. That's the thing, though.
Oh, that's true.
See, so you can't really use baseball. But football and basketball is
I'm sure
baseball,
you can hit a home run.
But if I throw a perfect pitch and you hit a home run, you're the opposite team.
Right. So it's like
let's just stick with basketball. I'm good with that.
Person.
Well,
I'm good with basketball and football.
Okay, before this conversation is over, I'm going to give you a perfect baseball.
Oh, we're going to a perfect baseball.
Yes.
Is this recorded?
It's like
we have a perfect baseball analogy.
It's like
Here
the other
go.
team going to third base and you throw the perfect throw to your teammate
to get them out.
To get them out.
Yeah. But that's a little too complicated.
I was going to say, that's not as exciting.
I've never realized that everything is a sports analogy.
It is.
This is why football and basketball are the ultimate sports.
That's why sports are important in general as kids, because it doesn't have to just be a sport, just like community and working with other people.
Will and I could be in the most in-depth conversation, like something, and he will throw out a football analogy, and I'm like,
I mean, if
really?
I'm being completely honest, and I know there's going to be baseball enthusiasts out there that's going to probably
someone
have
throw
something
us
to
a
say.
baseball analogy, please.
But baseball is on its way out because
you just said that.
Listen, I'm just keeping it 100. It's not marketable. It doesn't involve a lot of team aspects, and it's hard to create comparable illustrations for life when it comes to baseball. Like, it's just the truth. When it comes to football and basketball, I can give you countless, like unlimited examples of how it compares to life.
We'll stick with football and basketball.
I'm not the first person to say it.
Everything's a sports analogy.
Okay.
So
let's get into the tire
conversation.
All right.
Yeah. So today we're talking about. Oh, you want to throw in the iconic circle? We got iconic circle merch.
Oh, we got our shirts made.
We got our merch.
Official merch.
We got merch. Merch for y'all. Just let us know if you're interested. But today,
all about Nicole.
I'm in the hot seat.
This has been a long time coming.
Yes.
Long, because we have we've made a list. We have so much stuff. Not a list, but
okay.
You know there's some stuff we want to talk to you about.
Take a few drinks.
Yes.
All right, so where are we starting, Brooke? Where do you guys think we should start?
So we left off with the fibroids conversation.
Yes.
Okay.
In the wasn't that associated with the hair?
Yes.
With your hair?
With the relaxers.
Relaxers?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you had told us that you had reached out. You were approved to possibly be part of that whole lawsuit.
Yeah.
And
where do things stand? Yeah, where do things stand with that?
So that's still going on. Haven't heard anything in a minute, but last I did hear is Dark and Lovely was like the main people or whatever.
Okay.
And they recently filed bankruptcy. So
really, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So well, that's what I heard from the attorneys that's handling it. So they recently filed bankruptcy, and so I had to put in all this information so I can be included in the bankruptcy.
Wow.
Thing.
I'm sure that's like a process in itself.
Yeah.
But there has to be a lot of women out there though that probably don't even know about this lawsuit or anything that had to do with it. So just to kind of like recap on, can you just give like a little backstory on everything that you went through just up until this point to get to the lawsuit?
So the whole fibroid issue?
Well, how did you even find out? Like you used Dark and Lovely for a while, right? So how did it come full circle for you to even find out?
No pun intended. Full circle.
Yeah, no pun intended or whatever. But this is the realest people in real estate, and I'm just gonna keep it real.
Pun intended.
But yeah, so most black women use hair straighteners to straighten their hair. Chemical relaxers. And so I have been using relaxers since I was 5. Yeah, so I have really coarse, thick hair. So a lot of African Americans do have that. So that's the route we go. So I found out, I would say around end of last year, that it was some type of lawsuit going on. I found out through Facebook that it was some type of lawsuit going on if you use chemical relaxers. So I just completed the form or whatever, not even thinking about it. And they reached out to me maybe about a month later. And, he was just explaining to me what happened. And the products that they put into the relaxers almost seemed like they were intentional. And I said before, one of the things that was used was a chemical that they use to embalm dead people, and that kind of just blew my mind away. So,
did you do any research on the owners?
I did of
Dark and Lovely.
No, but I do know that they were like the hit. They used a lot of different products where they are actually the original. They are the owners, but it's under a lot of different names.
Oh.
And so when they
wait. Let me understand this. So Dark and Lovely is like the original, but then they've branched off and they have different products.
A bunch of different products
under the Dark and Lovely.
So that's
umbrella,
a very common thing. So one of our clients is Murray's.
Yeah.
And Murray's is probably the largest manufacturer of wax-based, oil-based products. And so what they did was, because they got the system so perfected, they bought, if you go to Sally's or like a beauty supply, they bought probably 60% of the brands that were on the shelf, because all those brands couldn't compete with their margins.
Okay.
So you might see a tea tree oil or olive oil or something, and you think that it's, or Isoplus. Like, you see those brand names, Murray's owns them all. Yeah.
So
it's probably like the same.
That's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. So as he was like on the phone with me explaining everything, he started mentioning like all of these different name brand relaxers, and every single one that he mentioned I used.
Oh my gosh.
And it was like about 12 different brands.
Because they just changed, they add one different thing, and then
like
they change the name. Yes.
Just one different ingredient, and
the base ingredients are the same, and then they just tweak little things and then call it something different.
Yeah. So that's how that part started. I found out about that. They said they wanted to take my case, and just kind of been going through the process.
So people that were using relaxers, I don't think we explained this. Like, what were the side effects?
So that was the thing too. The side effects were all based on women reproducing, which leads me, I'm a conspiracy theorist, but this is the truth. Everything is population control,
right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I just feel like that was another form of population control, because why would you put something in a product that's going to stop us from being able to reproduce?
That is used specifically by women.
Yeah. I have fibroids, so in turn I had to end up getting a hysterectomy. Getting a hysterectomy means you can't have kids.
Right.
So
now, was there any link to, I don't want to say like studies, or in the symptoms or anything that you knew about, was there any link to fibroids in women that use these products? Was that something that was common?
No, well, I'm finding this out now.
Okay.
Yeah, after I found out.
After you found out, yeah.
It's fibroids, like in cancer, so like uterine cancer, and
So it basically attacks the entire reproductive system.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, so that's the whole situation. And just to mention, like, my fibroid situation was horrible.
Yeah, you
like,
shared a little bit about it.
I never knew that women go through things like that. I never knew it was that horrible of a situation. I even that's the owner.
Let me see the owner.
Go figure. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Did I say that out loud?
Carson products.
Did I really just say that out loud? Exactly. We're the realest people in real estate.
Yeah.
Can you just show that one more time? Because we're not going to sugarcoat the owner.
Edit some of the.
I'm sorry.
So Ron Carson is the founder. He's the founder of the Carson Group. The Carson Group originally owned Dark and Lovely.
What did they?
They sold it to L'Oreal.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they sold it to L'Oreal. Okay.
Yeah.
So 1998.
Not surprising.
Yeah.
L'Oreal.
Not at all.
Do you remember L'Oreal Kids? Like, I used to use that as a little girl. Like, my parents would use that in my hair.
There's
like,
so
they got
many
kids
different products. Yeah.
I mean, if we could get into there's so many even Johnson & Johnson products that you could go through that you're not even supposed to use on your children and are so promoted for kids that Johnson & Johnson's the same thing.
So against Johnson
there's
& Johnson.
not one Johnson & Johnson product in my house at all.
I didn't
because
know this.
they contain carcinogen. Is that the word carcinogen? Is that the word carcinogen?
Carcinogens.
I don't know the name.
Carcinogens.
I know it's not good.
Stuff in their products, and they've been sued for it in the past. So, like when cancer causing products. So you will not find one Johnson & Johnson product in my house.
I didn't know
that. Not at all.
You know, every baby that's born, like back in the day, the mom would put the Johnson & Johnson powder.
Johnson & Johnson baby oil. How many people use Johnson & Johnson baby oil? The lotion.
Yeah.
No, they're filled with all kinds of products that they've been sued for over and over again, and they're still allowed to make these products, and it blows my mind. With even Dark and Lovely, like how many other products did they make under that name that they've still been allowed to make? And that's what's so frustrating.
I mean, literally every major corporation. I mean, we can go down
we could.
the list.
We could go down a rabbit hole.
That would be a
we need to get somebody on here because to talk about that stuff.
Yeah,
that would be such a rabbit hole because you could get into so much
talking
stuff.
about like our health system, our healthcare.
That's a whole other subject.
Who was the guy that Kurt talk? What is his name? That Kurt talk about?
Someone like that. We need to get on the podcast.
What is his name?
Dr. Sabi?
No, baby. I'm sorry. No, Will.
That's fine.
No, the guy that we saw that spoke, that has that program that we looked into, that Kurt talked about, and he's a huge. I can't think of his name, but
he's a real estate agent.
No, he was one of the guys who used to work for the insurance companies and could predict when people were going to die, and that's what his job was. And Kurt talked about it. Like he would like do their analysis, and he would tell them like the way
based on the things that they
were doing and eating and putting in their lifestyle. He could determine, and the insurance companies hired him to determine when people were going to die. And I can't remember his name. And if Kurt, you're watching, like shoot in, but that was his job. But he talked about that a lot, like the amount of stuff that people put in their bodies.
It's terrible.
At the end of the day, it's all about money.
Yeah, 100%.
It is, because that's why, and that's why I don't believe in colds. Like, it's no such thing as having a cold. Like, it's just a way for them to sell medication.
It is, and it's so funny because everyone says, like, when your kids go outside, like, I remember, like, our parents would be like, make sure you button up. Like, if their chest is exposed, they're going to get a cold.
Or don't turn on the fan.
No, they're not going. They have to be exposed to a cold in order to get a cold. Stepping outside is not going to make them catch a cold.
Okay, wait a minute. Let's back up a second.
Allergies, Mr. Allergy.
No, not necessarily allergies, but
allergies are a whole different world.
Your body chemistry changing too fast. So, like, if you're in a warm environment and then you go into a cold environment, it could shock your nervous system, which could trigger stress, which could then...
It's the stress.
It's the stress of it. And
it's stress on your body,
it's
which
the stress
then
on the
could
body.
Cause symptoms like sinus or cold or runny nose or whatever.
But the cold...
But the actual... The whole mentality of they're going to catch a cold by just stepping outside, like... I mean,
the reason they were saying it wasn't based on the real actual
fact of you're gonna immediately step outside and catch a cold. Like and that's just how we've all been programmed to believe that that's what's gonna happen.
It's a program. So I truly believe that what they call a cold is just our body's natural way of healing itself. But the fact that when you get a runny nose or whatever, we've been told, if you get a runny nose, you got a cold. You got to go to the store and buy some medicine for it. But your body is just naturally healing itself.
A fever is the same way. Like if children get a fever, or really anyone gets a fever, they're like, oh my gosh, take Tylenol. Well, no, like let your body's fighting something.
That's how it fights.
Let it fight it. Like it's supposed to do that. So everything that you've been through, back to the Dark and Lovely and everything that you've gone through personally, what would be the one thing that you would tell women or anyone who may be watching who could experience something that, because for me, like with breast cancer, like I went through stuff and I could always relate to somebody else who's going through what I was going through. So if there's something you could say to women that may be going through what you're going through, what would exactly would that be?
Well, what I went through with my fibroid situation, I would say I had to end up joining like a Facebook group because, like I said, I didn't know that women even go through something like this, and the situation was so terrible. I'm like, I need to talk to other people that can relate. And so I joined like a couple Facebook groups, a fibroid Facebook group, anemia Facebook group because I lost a lot of blood. So
we talked about that too. Let's talk about that with the ice. You had an ice addiction.
Yeah. No,
I love how your brother laughs at you.
Funny, but like it was really true.
But let's talk about that. It's a real really addiction, true. Robert. Like she had an ice addiction.
I used to.
Oh, I know.
And now, but you can't laugh at her right now.
It's my sister.
But no, now I understand how you know you're addicted to something. It's when you feel ashamed. Because I literally used to get ashamed. I got to the point where I would get ashamed to go in stores to buy ice.
But they didn't know who you were.
I know, but I was ashamed because I would always go in the store and I would just buy ice.
Throwing a million parties and you need ice in your cooler.
No, he would know what I want. Like I would come in the store.
She's here. Ice on aisle 8, please.
He probably had no idea why you wanted the ice.
I started going to like different stores
just to find
so
ice.
They wouldn't know me. Yeah,
was there a particular? Let me ask you this: was there a particular kind of ice?
Yeah, there got to be a particular kind of ice.
I believe that though, because hospital ice, nothing beats hospital ice.
I started off with loving hospital ice, and then I graduated to wanting like a certain type of ice.
What kind of ice?
It was like, like the round ones.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, almost the same. It has
like an oval
hospital
shape.
Ice has like air in it. Like it's a
little bigger though than that hospital ice.
Oval?
Yeah, it was.
And it's got like the little hole in the middle.
Yeah,
yes.
I know.
That became like my favorite ice. About. Exactly, that was your favorite ice.
That's like how it dries, though, right?
Huh?
That's it's just like, how the ice
because they have
dry.
like air in the ice, so it like makes it different than like a block of ice that you would put in like your ice trays.
But I started getting really particular about my ice. Like I wanted a certain type of ice.
See, this is more funny to me because
how did you quit the addiction?
I know. Soon as my blood levels went back up, it just went away. Because that's a part of
anemia.
Well, then how'd your blood levels go up?
Because I got the reason. Well, let me just start with how it went down. I just started losing blood. And when I say I lost blood for a year, I was not lying. Mm-hmm. I bled every day, literally, for a year. So my blood got down really low. They tried some injections, like hormone injections. That didn't really work. I was still bleeding. So finally, I had to get the hysterectomy. That ended everything. So
that's when your blood started going back up.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of anemic people like ice. There's something with the ice that...
you crave ice.
Yeah, you crave ice.
It's like your body is missing something, and ice is like what you crave.
Well, at least you conquered your ice addiction.
I conquered it.
I'm totally proud of that.
I can honestly say I'm no longer addicted to ice.
See,
that's going to be a caption, just so you know.
It's a quotable.
It's going to be a quotable for sure. I can no longer say I'm addicted to ice.
I would buy like those huge bags of ice and just sit it on the
What if it didn't melt? You would eat it before it melted?
Yeah, I would eat the whole bag.
Wow. You probably went to the bathroom a lot.
But that's the thing. I thought that since I was eating so much ice, I was getting a lot of water.
Oh, you sweat it out?
Aren't.
Are you sweating?
Would you sweat a lot?
No, it's just like, think about it. If you eat like a whole cup of ice, think about like when a whole cup of ice turns into water. It's only like a little bit in the cup.
That's true.
Yeah.
So I wasn't even really getting
Girl, you were buying bags. Let's be real here. Like, you were buying the whole bag.
I was buying bags.
You were in inflation. Those ice bags are probably $9 a bag now.
You were seat belting.
I didn't care.
Did you put the seatbelt on it to make sure it didn't like go anywhere while you were driving?
No, I didn't take it that far.
All right.
Well, I was about to say, when I hear that, it makes me think about her as a little girl. Mm-hmm. And I feel like my memory is that every part of her life was like themed, and there was just things that she did that we all knew. So like an example of that is whenever she got tired, she would just talk and laugh. And when she would start laughing at night, everybody knew it was like, all right, it's time to go to bed. Like it's tired and needs to go to bed. But I feel like that's every phase of her life has always been kind of like. So that was like the ice phase.
That's actually awesome though that you have like the relationship and bond that you guys do to be able to talk about that, because I think I didn't have siblings, so I think that's super awesome that you guys can sit.
I never knew you was
No, I'm an only child.
Yeah.
I have only child syndrome. It's a sad thing. But that's why I have 4 kids. They were not going to be only children.
Yeah.
That's what my dad said. My dad's the only child, and he was like, I'll never let my child be the only child.
Yeah, I didn't want it. So I know really quick, because I know we're wrapping up on time, but I know there was something that you really, really wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I really want to talk about this hypnotherapy.
Let's dive into that really quick while we're finishing this up. Hypnosis.
I'm anxious to hear about it too.
So, hypnosis is not what people think, like when they would hold the clock and be like, you're getting sleepy. It's really not. Like, it's really, it's very therapeutic. So,
okay.
When I did this process, and I did go through it, they take you back. Okay, so they ask certain questions that covers, it's like 5 different topics. One is like whenever you felt the shame, or whenever you experienced
sorry,
when you felt pain. But the 5 different topics, when you're doing the hypnotherapy, you have to go back and think of the very first time that you experienced that. Mm-hmm. So for instance, if it's like your very first time that you experienced pain.
Okay.
And you would have to have your eyes closed, because did you guys know that you can ask your subconscious anything and you'll get the answer? All your answers are in your subconscious. So your subconscious is like a recording. It's recorded your whole life. So when they ask you these questions and you close your eyes and you kind of take a few breaths in and out and get into that stage, and they said, when is the first time that I'll say guilt, because one is guilt, one is pain, and it's like 5. So when is the first time that you experience guilt?
Did you say them out loud, though? Like, did you answer out loud? Or did
yes, you would answer out loud.
You have to actually answer them out loud.
Relax, get in a relaxed stage, breathe in and out a few times, and then, okay, you're relaxed. Now, when is the first time you ever felt guilt in your life? And the very first thing that you think about is when. You have to go with your very first thought.
Everybody? I bet you have. Did you guys? Did
you have to be in the right
stage. I can't think about anything that made me feel
my first time I'm guilty. I can't. I don't know.
No,
I don't know.
Well, you're not gonna be able to think about it now, because you have to.
I would say, I don't even know, like, that I could.
And it could
feel
be
what I was.
You want to think about the very first time. So it could be when you were a kid. Well, it's gonna be when you were
a baby. When I was a kid.
And then they ask you, like, it could have been like, if you believe in like an afterlife or whatever, it could have been like before. It could have been like when you were in your mother's womb. So
how
like,
did you know that?
So like one of the questions she asked, and I can't remember which one it was, but when she asked,
another drink for this one.
My first thing that came to my head was when I was in my mom's womb. And then a vision would come into your head of when it was. And I started explaining, like, I was out. She was outside, and there was other people outside. And that's the very first time that I experienced it.
That is.
I can only remember preschool. That's
I can't even remember.
Yeah, now you can't. Now you can't. But you have to get into a
meditated, relaxed state.
Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth 3 times. Get relaxed. When was the first time that you experienced pain? And then you'll start thinking back your first time. Your very first thought that comes to your mind is when it was.
And that's through your subconscious.
Yeah, everything is in your subconscious, because your subconscious has recorded your whole life. So for instance,
is quite intense.
And this is when I realized what dreams were. So it's like your whole life, you've recorded your whole life in your subconscious. So say when you was maybe like about 12 years old, just as an example, you might have went into a store and you passed by a lady or something and she held the door for you or something. You don't remember who that lady is, but your subconscious remembers that. So you may have a dream or something like that. You ever had a dream and someone's in there and you're like, I don't know who that person was, but they were in my dream.
Yeah.
So that was someone that you saw at some point in your life that you don't even remember, and it's in your subconscious.
What's so crazy is, I remember when I was like 7, I used to tell our parents that I wanted Kool-Aid in my mom's stomach so bad.
And
Do you remember
I don't
that?
really remember that, but
Wait, stop. I'm sorry.
You want your mom to drink
Let's
Kool-Aid?
stop. You wanted your mom to drink Kool-Aid.
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
I was craving Kool-Aid in her stomach. Like, I used to tell her that.
You guys have really good memories.
Yeah, because I'm trying to get past like last week.
Yeah.
So
I'm like that too, though.
The fact that you guys can go back to 7 years old in your mom's room wanting her to eat Kool-Aid.
These are like strong memories. We talked about this stuff on like a very regular basis. And I remember telling them, when I was in your stomach, I wanted Kool-Aid.
Oh, yeah.
Was there a specific flavor?
Red.
She says, oh,
Red
yeah.
Kool-Aid. Do you remember the Kool-Aid packs?
Oh, we do.
You remember?
Absolutely.
You don't remember Kool-Aid
No, I
packs?
remember Kool-Aid packs.
Oh, you're okay. So
Yeah.
those Kool-Aid packs,
And the 1 cup of sugar that went in those
Yes.
Kool-Aid
It was
packs.
a lot more than 1 cup.
Specifically, I thought it was just 1 cup. I specifically remember
We did not
that
look at
1
Kool-Aid.
cup of sugar that
did
you're
not look
like
at the directions.
watching it pour in. You're like,
There was
yeah,
nothing.
buddy.
Do you remember the plastic? Like there was like time, like the country time, like lemonade,
I hated
iced
that.
tea,
Oh,
Kool-Aid,
yes.
and
you
the
had to like scoop.
That's
Yes.
But then you ran out?
That's the new school.
Look, you ran out of the
little
Kool-Aid
square-
so you had to
Yeah,
mix
Square
them.
packs.
The little square
Yeah.
packs. There
Yeah,
was
I know what you're talking
nothing.
There used to be like rows
you
of
always
them
used
at the
to.
convenience store. There was like rows of them, and you could get any flavor. And then they came out with a new flavor, and you're like, oh,
There was
buddy.
nothing. There was nothing that compared
red
to
and
coming
blue.
in the house from playing outside.
To a
That was some Kool-Aid.
red
And get
Kool-Aid.
Oh my
Some
goodness.
red
That was
Kool-Aid.
the greatest. Like you
Oh,
just sit there
then
and
start
drink it.
mixing them. Like my favorite
Yes.
was like red and grape.
Oh, you mixed both of them?
Oh,
You do the same thing.
You gotta
Yeah.
mix it.
Yes.
Sure, like
If you don't have
everybody
enough,
know.
you gotta mix
I
it.
would no.
Grape was alcohol too.
Analytical
Grape was
thinking
the best, but grape was
it
kinda-
was red or nothing. Like there was no grape. Absolutely.
So you
not.
only got red?
I love
Absolutely.
grape.
Yes,
No,
there was
you missing out. I mixed grape
grape.
and lemonade.
Oh yeah, that was
Oh, that's
Anything
different.
strawberry
grape flavored
lemonade.
is not.
It
Okay,
was
I could do
like
that. I could do
everything
that.
was lemonade.
I just remember
like a
watching the
flavor.
sugar. I just have memories of like just pouring
Yeah.
the sugar and just
Me too.
watching the sugar
Yeah.
just flow
Yeah.
in there,
I
and
think
then
I
you stir
perfected
the
making
shit out of
Kool-Aid
it.
at some point. I
You did what?
perfected it. I
Oh.
perfected it.
Oh, yeah.
Making Kool-Aid
Well, you
and
have to
ramen
mix
noodles.
half of it.
Oh,
You
ramen
have to-
noodles
Yeah.
still my
I
jam to
perfected
this
both.
day.
Yeah. But with Kool-Aid,
Yeah.
you have to mix half of it, stir it up, and then you put the rest of the water in.
You see
Like,
why I
gotta-
wanted
Yeah.
it so bad at 7 though. Like I remember it so.
I think
vividly.
you were trying to mind trick your mom just so you could have Kool-Aid at 7.
I wouldn't doubt that.
I'm
but
sure there was a little bit
the
more behind that
conversation
conversation.
was when I was in your stomach. I
Yeah.
wanted to come out and drink Kool-Aid, and I just hoped
Well,
that you would drink it.
When you do the hypnotherapy, you'll be asked, when you experienced this, was it before birth, during birth?
They actually asked that question.
Like ask
yeah,
those
or
questions.
after. Yeah.
Wow.
And so when
I can't remember like past.
you can't right now.
No, like
But-
I'm trying to even think back. Like I haven't.
Do you
like,
meditate?
No,
Okay. So if you get into a meditative state, like
it scares me a little bit. Just
why? But if
that's
more
a
people
whole
did
nother
that,
conversation that we don't have time for.
if more people did that, you would be more calm. You wouldn't let things get to you as much. You would be less stressed.
I mean,
all
I
of
pray, but meditating to me like is a whole nother experience that I haven't.
It's totally different from praying.
It's totally, and I know that, and I haven't.
It's
tapped
when you
into
just
that.
quiet your mind. Because we have so many things going through our mind on a daily basis.
The Peaceful
Yeah.
Warrior. You guys ever seen The Peaceful Warrior?
No, what's that?
Everybody needs to watch The Peaceful
Is
Warrior.
it? It's a movie.
never
It's
saw
a
it.
movie.
It's a book, but
it's
then
a-
they made a movie
Okay.
from the book. I just made Robbie watch it
Okay.
because his mind just goes
My
a
mind
thousand
doesn't
miles
ever
an
shut
hour.
off.
And the whole
Yeah.
premise of the movie is quieting your mind, emptying the garbage and the trash,
Yeah.
and then being able to focus on
That's
the
what
moment.
meditating is.
Yeah,
See, so maybe I do need
The
to tap
Peaceful
into
Warrior.
that. The Peaceful Warrior.
it's
We're
on
gonna.
Hulu and Netflix and all those.
I might want to read the book
Yeah.
and then watch the movie.
Yeah.
But like literally, I will wake up, and you can, and Will can attest to this. I'll wake up at like super early in the morning, like 2-3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just there's like my
That's
mind
when you
just,
should meditate.
really
Yeah.
because my mind just doesn't shut up, and he's like, "What's wrong?" And I'm like,
You got to get all that garbage out.
"Yeah, it
And then
doesn't."
you'll
I'll
empty
start
the
pacing
trash.
the house.
Empty the trash.
I'm gonna have to look into that.
That's what the movie says. He's like,
Empty the trash.
empty the trash.
All right, so we're
And
gonna
you know
we're gonna
what?
tap into that movie and
When you
watch
do
it.
that, when you empty all that garbage out, then you can get new thoughts and new ideas, and that's when ideas come to you and things like that.
The book I always talk about, the 4-Hour Work Week, Tim Ferriss. He's like Tim Ferriss.
How's that working out for you, by the way?
He's brilliant. I haven't gotten it yet.
Okay.
It's coming though. But in that book, he talks about our capacity, and which what she's talking about is so accurate, because everybody believes that they have unlimited brain capacity for all the stuff that they take in. And so through the course of the day, you wake up in the morning, you deal with the kids, you deal with your husband, you deal with your wife.
I'm on autopilot. It's autopilot.
You get your mom calls you, and then she tells you about all the crap that's going on in her day. Coworker calls you. By 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, you've hit your capacity, but you have no idea that you've hit your capacity.
Right.
So then now you're trying to then do real estate or do your craft or whatever it is that you actually need to do, and it's lackluster. Like it's not at the level. You can't find your creativity, and you're trying to figure out like, oh, I'm in a funk, or like I'm having creator's block. When in all actuality, you took in too much garbage before you got to the point when you were ready to do your thing.
So he's back, because I was literally just about to say that is probably the most realist statement that I could ever relate to, because I feel like I take in so much other garbage from the time I wake up at I'm usually up like 5:30, 6 o'clock, and then I just sit there, and instead of just getting up, I sit there because I'm like, I'm still tired, I don't want to get up. But my biological clock wakes me up at 5:30, like on the dot. I'm up no matter where we are. But the amount of stuff that I take in, I am mentally exhausted.
You're not allowed.
And you got that's the 4-hour work week is. You have about approximately, based on his studies, you have about 4 hours to do your most productive activities. And if you use that 4 hours for things that aren't productive, your capacity is full. It's full.
And you're not going to be able to get those things.
So if you're up at 6, and you're doing things by 10, 11 o'clock, you're done. But you're like, I'm going to just get to it after I do all these things. Then
seriously,
it's like, no,
that is probably like the most realist, relatable comment.
And the weirdest thing is that it don't sound the same coming from me.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not coming from me either. It's coming from Tim Ferriss.
But I'm just saying.
But that's why I always reference Tim, because, like, you should read, the book is so brilliant. And that's why I wanted to get on, like, that 4 o'clock. Like, for me, it's not as bad no more, because my circumstances is different. But before that, at 6:37, the household is waking up. So if I can get up at 4, I can get 3 hours of quality work and productivity done before I get any interruptions.
Do you know how many people laugh at me? Not laugh at me, when I tell them, like, my biological clock wakes me up at like 5:30 naturally. And they're like, why do you get up so early? I'm like, you don't understand. My kids get up at like 7:30-ish. By the time 7:30 comes, there's no turning back. We are full force. The day has started. So for me to get up at 5, from 5 to 7:30, if I can get up every day between 4:30 and 5, I would love that. And to have that moment from 4:30 to 7 before the entire house, that is the most amazing moment of my life.
You write down the things that are the night before or the week before. The book talks about prioritize the things that are income producing activities, like the things that are most important that needs to be done to create the lifestyle that you desire. That's the thing that you do first. As soon as your eyes pop open, you do that. And then there's less things that are less important, and then you get into some of the autopilot things that you have to do, like get the kids ready and take them to school.
We have our weekly meetings on Monday and Wednesday, and sometimes by the time Will and I will sit down and meet, I'm like, I'm done. Like, I'm literally like,
checked out, burnt out.
I'm checked out, and he's like, "Are you there?" And I'm like,
"No,
nope, definitely not," because I'm
That's
fully
good though. Self-awareness is good though, because like you recognize a lot of people will push past the burnt out feeling, and then it's like
So once you recognize, you got to find a solution.
Correct.
Which I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Meditating. That's definitely the solution.
Okay,
you can start off with 5-minute meditations. They have them on YouTube. You can try guided meditations, But you definitely need to meditate.
I feel like I do because my life
it's
is
not
like
scary.
And
frame it differently though. Like it don't have to be necessarily like framed as medication. It could or meditation.
Yeah, call it something.
We're not
different.
doing medication.
Yeah.
Clearing your mind.
Clearing my mind.
Like yoga for me is essentially the hour of the week where my phone is off. Like I don't have thoughts. Like I'm just doing the exercises and the stretches.
Right.
And it's clarity for 1 hour.
1 hour.
Know? So.
Which is crazy because your life is much more crazier than mine.
Exactly.
But
you just push pause.
Do you have like anything that gives you that moment of like?
I'm lucky. Look, I wake up, nobody's at the house. I don't have any kids. I don't have a husband. Nothing.
Stay that way for as long as you
can. I'm gonna stay that way for the rest of my life. But I got a question for you. You're talking about the afterlife stuff. Yeah. I'm a little interested in that because I watched YouTube. There's a fly here.
Yeah, I see. It's like a gnat.
Yeah, I watched a YouTube video where someone was doing
technical difficulties
hypnosis, and they were going into their afterlife, and they were basically like unrevealing these reasons of why this girl was doing what she would do. So she basically like felt this, like she had to donate her eggs, right? And it like, even though it was painful and like she didn't understand why she felt like this guilt that she had to do it, and it was because in her afterlife she couldn't have children.
Yeah, I mean, if you believe in that, through hypnosis, you can find. They've literally been able to do through hypnosis what happens to people when they die.
Yeah.
This is just something I read about. I'm not saying I believe
I want to
in
hear
all
more about
of it, but yeah, like through hypnosis, they've been able to they've been able to put people in a certain stage that they can remember, like what happened to them in their previous life when they died.
Wow.
So
like how they died, or if they like what
happened, like whatever. Like if you go to heaven, or if you just die, or what happened. And I was like listening to something about that, and they came to the conclusion because like the majority of people, someone did a study. He was a hypnotherapist, whatever. Y'all know what I mean.
He did
hypnosis.
Hypnotherapist.
Hypnotherapist, is that what they're called? Okay.
We'll just say that. And he did like several studies of people where he put them in the hypno state, and they went back to a previous life after what happened to them when they died, and almost every single one of them said that after they died, for a little while they like floated on top, and they could like see the people like mourning them or whatever, like right after. But everyone said the same thing.
Yeah,
it was like a common like denominator.
Yeah,
like everyone.
I gotta chime in. So is it
I don't watch TV, people, so it's like a lot of stuff that I do while other people are watching.
I've said more than once my husband is an old soul. So
is it possible that, because this could work both ways, is it possible that they're taking all the things that they've seen on TV based on writers and people coming up with their idea of what happens when you die, and they've internalized that as their eventuality?
Everyone said the same
that's what
experience as far as floating on top.
So that's his point, though. Like that's his point.
If you think about right now, up awake, everybody think about
not necessarily in heaven, but just like
no, for
top.
sure. But think about like your idea of what do you think would happen if you died. The first thing that's going to come to most people's mind is a scene from a movie where your spirit came out of your body, and it's like watching a room. Because there's so many movies that create that type of visual to demonstrate like that scenario.
Yeah, right. It could be that too. But after his study, like everyone, based on the majority of people that said the same exact thing, that was kind of like the conclusion that it came to, and everyone said it lasted for a little while, maybe like it lingered for like 3 days at the most, and then after that, that person was like totally gone. Just and black. Gone into another life.
Oh, afterlife?
Yeah, going into wherever else they were going. So after like 3 days, they weren't there anymore.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting.
But
that's pretty deep.
It's just like some of the crazy stuff that I
was listening to a podcast recently, and they were talking about how like people tend to get more religious as they get older because they're getting closer to death,
or more spiritual.
Oh, that's absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
I definitely believe in the difference between spirituality and religious.
That could be a whole.
I wonder if that's gonna happen to me since I'm 35.
It's a whole nother conversation. Since you're 35,
that took a second to understand.
When I got older, I got more spiritual.
I wish I could be 35 forever.
I'll push pause. Listen,
I will say
you literally did press pause.
My 30s were way better than my 20s. Yeah. So I would be totally, although my 40s have been great, I would totally be okay like staying in my 30s. Like they were pretty amazing.
Listen, I posted about this guy who basically created a post saying why you shouldn't celebrate your birthday.
I watched that.
Did you watch it?
Yeah. I did not watch it. I'm going to miss it. So you posted it like recently?
Yes.
Okay, somehow I didn't get it.
Celebrating birthdays is a ritual.
Yeah.
If you think about all the things that you do when you celebrate birthdays, you light a candle, you say happy birthday 3 times, like all these things that would be comparable to like demonic worship type of symbolism.
I'm gonna have to go look for that.
Then he talked about how you only have one birthday.
Yeah.
So everything else is 1 year closer to when you're not gonna be here anymore. So why are you counting toward
you're making yourself
end?
older.
And then psychologically, if you're saying to yourself, I'm getting older, your body is gonna listen to that and internalize it.
Yeah.
And you're gonna really feel older, and you're gonna really actually get older.
So
it makes so much sense.
I think I can absolutely relate with that, and I understand all of that. And for me, birthdays like going through everything I went through with cancer, and I'm sure like even you with your fibroids and hysterectomy, like for me, birthdays are a little bit different because I celebrate the different meaning for them. Like,
just don't say how old you are each time. Just stay a certain age.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna be 30.
You're counting the years.
Hold on, wait. When did we get married?
What if a year is not even a year?
Exactly.
Right, like we can celebrate ourselves every day.
What is time?
What is time? I don't worship the god of time.
No, and that's absolutely like
time was created by a Gregorian calendar.
Yeah.
So there's really no time.
And
there's really no time. It's only the moment.
Came from a man who decided when the sun rises and sets. We've talked about this. And that could be a whole
you close your eyes and you wake up. You're in the same space you were before you close your eyes.
That's the only thing we know for sure is this moment right here.
So let's just pick an age that we're going to be forever.
We define time.
Correct.
We define time.
Yeah. I think that would be pretty awesome. So
I'm 35 forever.
You're 35 forever. So let's really do that.
What was your favorite year you would say that you would want to stay at?
I would. Oh gosh, that's a hard one because
I'm asking you a question.
I do. I know I'm supposed to be interviewing you, but no, because I have 4 kids, so like there were certain points. But I would have to say probably 2018 was by far one of the best years of my life.
And that's what you should stay at.
So 5 years ago, so I'm 41. So
36.
that was so 36.
So you're 36 forever.
I'm 36. Yeah, 2018 was
stamp it.
I am 36
do not
forever.
Allow anybody to tell you something differently.
That we get a different age. Who told us?
That's true. Because that out of 42 years.
Are you out there listening?
Oh yeah.
You decide. Don't let nobody tell you. Like you believe it. It's true.
I love it.
It's a program.
So you guys have to pick your years too, because you're 35 forever. 35. I'm 36 forever.
I haven't made it there yet. I would say probably like 25, 24, 25.
Yeah, you got time.
You got time, because we're in our.
That was a good year though.
So as of right now, that's your year. What's yours? Because we're gonna end on this note. What is your?
No, I gotta say one more thing.
One more
thing, then we can end it.
When I was 38, 2018.
Good year, my man's good year.
I've always said that I feel like I came into really being a woman. I think I had like a defining moment, like I'm a woman at 27.
27? Okay, but that's young too, though.
Yeah, but no, that wouldn't be the year I wanted to stay at.
Okay.
But I really like where I'm at right now. I would say like 30. I would say like maybe like 39
Okay.
All right, let's push pause right there.
All right.
Listen.
Yes.
Scientifically, there was a guy who was in the hospital, and he had been diagnosed as being paralyzed, and he had some nerve damage like in his back, and he proceeded to close his eyes, and he said to himself, I am gonna fix this myself. Like, I'm not about to rely on what these doctors are telling me. And he literally concentrated so hard, went into his mind, located the area in his back.
Is this a true story?
This is a true story.
I believe
Okay.
I believe
I'm trying to go
I know
there.
it sounds far-fetched.
I'm
But
trying
this
to
is
go
the
there
power.
right now.
Listen, this is the
power
power
of
of
the
the
mind.
mind.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. He went into his mind, into his back, found the problem area, and he willed his spine to heal itself.
He's Jesus.
And the doctors were like, this is not possible. He told them the next day when they came in the morning to do his exam, he was like, I fixed the problem. And they were like,
I fixed the problem.
Like, what do you mean you fixed the problem? Like, you'll never walk again. You can't. Like, it's damaged forever. No, he was like, do an x-ray. He demanded that they do an x-ray. So they finally were like, he was like literally losing his, he was like, it's fixed. Like, I fixed it. Last night I fixed it. They did the x-ray and it was fixed.
They're like, put him in the psych
like,
ward.
I need you to
I
find
believe
this
that.
story.
Listen,
I'm not saying I don't believe it, but and I will challenge you to that.
Well,
This is the basis.
I healed myself.
read
I
the
healed
story.
myself from rheumatoid arthritis.
It's possible.
I really
I do
healed
believe
myself.
that. Like, I don't
If you
discredit
think about
that
it, like,
whatsoever.
let's think about this in realistic terms, right? If I pinch you, where does it start?
Oh, it's in your
your
mind.
And your
Everything is in your mind. Think about it though.
Stress,
Your mind
sickness.
tells you everything.
Yes.
Like, it tells you, like, if I'm gonna pick up this drink, it tells me to do that.
Exactly.
It tells you to do everything.
So what I believe, this is why the 35 Forever thing started. This was like, when I heard this story, it was like 6 years ago, whatever. If everything starts in my mind, and I can literally control the health of my body based on my brain, if the average human uses 10% of their brain, this guy probably used 12 or 13. Because, like, you ever watched the movie oh my goodness, where they take the pill and then the pill, like, Limitless, yes.
Oh,
the whole
that.
premise of the movie Limitless was that if you take the pill, it allows you to tap into a higher percentage of your brain, and it kept going up and up and up.
Okay.
So, like, my thoughts are, if you have the ability to use more than the average human, you can do things like that.
Yeah,
You
it's
can
true.
fix cells
You can
and,
literally
like, repair.
fly.
That's crazy.
You can literally fly. If you, I believe that
Did
you
you
can't.
just say you could literally fly?
You could do anything.
I used
like,
to have flying dreams.
the
all
only reason
the
you
time.
can't fly is because you don't believe it. Like you just said. Did you just say that? So you don't believe it?
I mean, fly? Like,
Yeah, because
like
nobody believes you
Man, we
can
could talk
fly.
for 2 hours. Like, I got so much to say about it.
Nobody believes you can fly, so you can't.
Did
so
you,
you don't
do you
believe
guys
it
know
enough.
your age, your forever age, like production team? Like, did you guys have, like, because we've been talking about this. Did you guys, have you
They're
guys
like, y'all lost us so long ago.
25? Do
What
you have
room
an
did we
age?
just step in?
21? Ooh,
21.
21.
Can you do something for me?
Right.
I'd be interested to hear that story. We might have to get the production team on here to see their stories at 21. But you guys, this has
let's
been
go, Drake.
awesome. Let's go ahead and wrap this up. Brooke, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you guys for tuning back into the Realist People in Real Estate podcast. Stay tuned for the next podcast. And
Jay
it's
Powell.
been real. Jay Powell.
We have Jay Powell, but we also, we're going to be doing, are we going to do live from the
Home buyers.
home buyers? First time home
Next
buyers
week.
is next weekend. And then the weekend after that, we have Jay Powell. So he's going to be in studio with us from UNV. He's also a real estate investor. So I'm super excited for that. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Dope. Thanks for letting me join you guys. I appreciate it. It was
Thanks
fun.
for
joining the
thanks for
convo.
coming to the conversation.
It's a wrap.
It's a wrap. Have a great week,
wrap.
guys.
Peace.
Bye.